There's Aaron Slide. Great to see Aaron Slide out on the track, number 111. So he'll be taking his place 6th on the grid on the Castrol Honda, and that means that we've got a full complement of superstars and factory stars in this hard-fought World Superbike Series. So the red flag still up, but the guys preparing for the start of race 1 here at the Nurburgring. The rain has just started again, I think. Yes, there's a drizzle, a steady rain coming down. So this is going to be one heck of a race. We've seen what the guys can do in the wet at Albacete when they were virtually aquaplaning their way round. Let's see how we go on here at the Nurburgring. The sky's threatening over the fir trees of the Eiffel Mountains, but we're waiting to see what's going to happen when these guys take off.
Yeah, and we just saw a shot there of Delatang. He's crashed out on the warm-up.
And they go green and they're off. And let's see who hits the front. And it was a corking start from Corsa, but he had Colin Edwards absolutely alongside him. And they're racing for the first turn. Who's going to make it in there first? They were on the left-hand side. Oh, and it was a Kawasaki. And it looks as if Yanagawa has got there first. Yanagawa's in there first without knocking anybody off. And they're all safely through the first turn, which was one that we were worried about. It had a nasty ridge on the entrance to it. The guys have obviously treated it pretty cautiously. Colin Edwards where he wanted to be in 2nd place. Haga 3rd. Corsa 4th. Aaron Slide in 5th place. Slide, of course, as he's made a good start from the 2nd row. A little more caution on the part of and look at that, Iger Yerman's up there, number 15, but Fogarty's had a fairly cautious start, and look how they're pussyfooting through that right-hander. I suppose on the first lap, Mark, they will be taking it steady.
Absolutely, yeah, you've got to take it a bit steady on the first lap just to get a really good feel of what your race bike on the race tyres at racing speed is going to do, but these guys are not taking it that steady. Yanagawa definitely isn't.
He certainly isn't, and he was saying that the thing about this track is that he's never been here before. Throughout 1997, when he surprised us with those 2 race wins, he said one of the things on his side was he didn't know the circuits. Oh, and down! No. Down goes Gregorio Lavia, the man who won, or nearly won, in the wet at Albacete. He eventually finished 3rd. Oh, he'll be so dismayed with that because he was finally beginning to move up the rankings in the World Championship Series, and he's just chucked it all away. What bad luck for Gregorio. So the Spaniard is out, the guy who started on the front row already. Colin Edwards has done what he threatened to do and gone through into the lead, and at the moment no sign of Fogarty. Fogarty's a bit downfield, he's got a lot of work to do. He's lost touch with the leading bunch. Edwards at the front, Yanagawa 11, Corsa 111, Slight moves threateningly into 4th place. I beg your pardon, too much water to drink and too much excitement here already on the first lap, into the 2nd gear right-hander and about to hammer down the start and finish straight. Colin Edwards first.
Colin's flying, he's pulled out some lengths already. Corsa's going well, Keely's going well, but I can't see Carl as yet. There he is, there goes Carl, he's just crossed the start and finish line now.
And Fogarty well down. Fogarty's actually down behind Peter Goddard, so he has made a very sluggish start on the Ducati. That man, Bontempi, has burst through from the 4th row of the grid to get himself into a decent position. He's now 7th, ahead of James Whitham. Udo Marks in there, Gramini, Scott Russell, Fogarty in 12th place. We'd like to see higher than that, Carl. Goddard 13th, Hodgson 14th, Pedicini and Yerman. And at the front, the Hondas setting about one another. Number 9, Bontempi in 7th place, followed by number 72. Number 72's in there. Udo Mark putting in a good show. The German veteran, 34 years old now, twice German Pro Superbike champion. But at the front, the former American champion, the man who reckoned that these Hondas were good enough to win on. Kaczynski's done it, so I'm going to do it. He won twice at Monza, and look at him in the rain. Incidentally, he was away the fastest rider during that wet session that they had half an hour ago, Mark.
Yeah, he's got it going. He's got it really working. He must be very happy with the setup. Oh, look at the back there, sliding on that. He's working hard, and the guy's enjoying himself. Corsa's going very nicely, but now, of course, at this stage in the season, Corsa's got to start thinking about points. He hasn't had a win yet, but he's still got to bear the points in mind.
And at the moment, of course, he's leading that championship with 135 points, 7 points ahead of Carl Fogarty, and 5 points further behind Carl is Norrie Haga. But this man, Troy Corsa, the 26-year-old Australian from Wollongong, he's the guy who's leading this championship without any race wins to his credit. Aaron Slight's there, Norrie Haga's there. All the major contenders, bar, sadly, Carl Fogarty near the front. First place is Colin Edwards, ahead of Yanagawa, Corsa, Slight, Haga, Keeley, Bontempi, 8th place Whittam, Foggy in 12th.
Yeah.
And there's number 7, Pier Francesco Chili, the Duck. Well, we're waiting to see him make his move. He made his move late at Albacete, Mark. He didn't do anything stupid in the early laps, but he was always there or thereabouts and took the lead over pretty late in the race.
That's right, he did, yeah. He watched how the pace was developing and just hung back, and he knew what he could do, he knew what his tyres could do, and he just took it nice and steady. There's no point in running at the front if you crash on the last lap. So, yeah, Frankie's got an old head on young shoulders, and he knows what's what. He knows what it's like riding in the rain against these boys.
And at the front, Colin Edwards, who's only once ridden in the race against these boys, is certainly showing his mettle in 1998 on that Works Honda. And boy, he was quick. He was braking ever so late in the wet session that we had as a warm-up for these guys before the race. Here we go, 41. Norrie Haga, who didn't look so happy in the rain at Albacete, only just beat Jamie Whitten after some dramatic slides, is holding in there well behind Aaron Slight. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the action in a few moments. Don't miss it.
Ride the winds of change.
Welcome back to the Nurburgring and the height of the battle for second place. 5 riders contesting second place at the moment. Yanagawa, Corsa, Slight, Haga and Natman, Frankie Keeley. But at the moment, about 2-3 seconds ahead of Natman, number 45, already lapping back markers. The amazing Colin Edwards flashes across the finishing line, followed by Yanagawa, Corsa, Slight, Haga and Keeley, and then a huge gap before the rest of the guys. And at the moment we're slightly concerned about the fact that Carl Fogarty and Jamie Whittam are actually dropping back down the field, and we feel that possibly Jamie went and had a look at what Carl had on his bike, and Mark Bullen suspected that perhaps James wasn't going with full wets, and it could have been a mistake, Mark.
I think it could have been, but another prediction I made was a local wildcard man of Andy Meckler, and he's just been lapped. So yeah, don't ever put money on anything I say.
So Mecklow's been lapped. We can safely write him off. That's a shame, because Andy Mecklow once won a race at Zeltweg in 1993, a World Superbike race in the wet. So we would certainly have expected far greater things from him than that. But the Austrian's already been lapped, and look at Aaron Slight. They take a look up the inside as they drop into the hairpin, where he's momentarily snatches 6th gear and then snakes right down to second round the hairpin. Corsa looks over the wrong shoulder, and here comes and another one down, another one gone, and it's one of the back markers who's bitten the dust. So it's obviously pretty dodgy out there, and this man Colin Edwards, his setup looks perfect, and his Michelin wets are working well. Yeah,
that guy that was down, he's obviously put his local knowledge to good use there, hasn't he? He chose the gravel trap he wanted to get into. Colin Edwards really has got that bike set up very nicely. It's important in the wet to soften off your gearing a little bit, soften off the suspension a little bit. You don't actually need the full top speed that you were having in Superpole and qualifying, because you're not going to use it. So he's made the right choices.
And these guys really are humdigging it for second place. Edwards escaping at the front, but all the time Corsa sneaking a look inside Yanagawa, Slight having a look around as well, and top speeds 230 for Yanagawa, 227 for all the other guys, 225 for Haga. That's kilometers per hour, of course. So at the moment that Kawasaki is fast. They said the bike was going well. He's got a lovely engine man, an American from California called, would you believe it or not, Ricky Johnson. It's not the fabled Supercross rider of the 1980s. It's a ginger-headed, bespectacled youth who's obviously put together a pretty good motor for Yanagawa today.
He seems to know what he's doing. He's telling us that there's no expense spared when it comes to the engine. Any bits, just chuck the old ones away, put new ones in. There's no budget.
Whereas he was working previously with the USA Kawasaki team, and he said they were a lot more careful with their dosh. But the Harald Eckel team, which of course is racing on home ground, Eckel, a German former champion himself, and here we go, looking back now at Bontempi. Bontempi already having lapped Melklau, and that man number 44, Scott Russell, who's looking happier on Michelin wets than previously. And there's Hodgson, followed by Goddard, number 8, Whittam, and Gramini's in there, and number 72. And once I can check out who that is, I'll let you know. Is that Udo Mark's in there as well? Udo Mark's in there as well. He's the guy who's well up on a fuel injection Suzuki, which Jamie Whittam was telling us the factory doesn't want to start using till it's absolutely convinced it's going to be reliable. Well, at the moment it's looking pretty good in the hands of Udo Mark, who's right in there in that battle for the top 10.
Colin Edwards is flying. He's on fire, the boy. You know, he's actually he's making a gap between these guys, and he's done a great move because he's leaving these lot to squabble over second place and then be slowing each other up.
And they're not going to, that's right, they're not going to be able to escape one another easily. He said he wanted to be away quickly, that he didn't really see who the opposition might be, conceivably his teammate Aaron Slight, but then it might depend on who got away fastest, and of course Aaron was on the second row, and Colin was on the front, so he was certainly in the best position. Now there are, in that German Pro Superbike Championship Series, there are a few snails, or relative snails, and we've been warned about that, and already guys being lapped, and mind you, I didn't expect Andy Mecklau to be one of them, I've got to say, but Huber on the Heinrich Meyer Racing Team Kawasaki number 74, waving a leg at these guys to let them know, I think, which side to go, but anyway, away they go, shooting past us on the straight, and Aaron Slight absolutely right up the rear end of course, and I think he might have him up the inside. He's certainly gone for it.
No.
Not quite. Aaron Slight just finds himself blocked as he tries that line. Of course, all the time he's got Norrie Haga right there trying to find a way past him. So this is pretty tight stuff. These guys probably slowing one another up with this battle, but it's a great battle to watch. And look at that, Haga, as ever, we got used during those early races to Haga looking for all sorts of unusual ways past, around and over people, and he's obviously feeling confident in the rain and doing it again, because he certainly wasn't confident when it was very, very wet at Albacete. And heads down, heading for the hairpin.
Yeah, and the problem that Slight's got at the minute, whoa, and he doesn't have a problem. Oh, does it? No. Oh, what a mistake.
And there
He
goes,
nearly lost that.
There goes Aaron Slight. Aaron Slight cuts inside, and Haga's almost had it there. Haga a quick look over his shoulder. Beg your pardon, Slight a quick look over his shoulder at Haga. Hagason still in there, but at the moment, Slight, he knows he's got to ride almost defensively. At the same time, he's got to find a way past Troy Corser. He's desperate to find a way past Troy Corser. Every time he takes a look, Corser finds that little bit extra under braking, and whenever he's going underneath Corser, Haga's going underneath him. So it makes a fascinating. Oh, look at this! It makes a fascinating three-way battle. Look at Haga's wide line swooping downhill now, and this is fast into sixth gear, absolutely burning down there. You can see Carban ahead of them, only 203 kilometers per hour. Edwards 229. Oh, we've got lots of back markers in there already. Yanagawa 228, and I think Aaron Slight's done it. Slight likes that tight line into the chicane just before the start and finish, and he's got through. So Aaron Slight making the move he needed to, and I think Haga's trying to get underneath as well. And I think Haga might be there in amongst the back markers. Colin Edwards flashes past us. We wait for the rest of them. Aaron Slight, Haga's in there, and so is Troy Corser. Brilliant stuff, but Corser's lost 2 places.
Yeah, Troy's not going to be a happy bunny now, but Aaron had a difficult time there. He had a difficult couple of laps. He's worked his threat up, I should guess.
Well, certainly he's worked very, very hard. He's kept Haga behind him, which is what he needed to do, but now he'll have Hagason all over his back tyre. And here they go, and of course the back markers are in there as well, just to make life and that's number 53, Carban on the Carban Racing Team Suzuki, already being lapped. He started from the last row of the grid, and he's obviously determined to stay there. Yanagawa, Slight, Haga, Corser, Keeley. Now we know that we've said before how Corser can bide his time. He's got a great head on his shoulders tactically. We know how well sorted he had his bike in the drive for Super Pole yesterday. Edwards has got the fastest lap, 1:55.5. Which is a hang of a sight slower than what they were going. I mean, it's 15 seconds off the pace, but understandable in these conditions. At the moment, the sky has lightened a bit, and Mark, it looks as if it stopped raining even.
I think it's still drizzling. It's just a heavy drizzle now, but I don't think we're going to see dry lines for a few laps, even if it does start raining. No, it's definitely still coming down, but that 1:55 is still a lot quicker than we did on the scooter the other evening.
It certainly is.
These boys are travelling, make no mistake about it, but the one I'm keeping my... Yeah, Haga had a good old slide there from the back coming out of that left. But the one I'm keeping my eye on, I have to say, is Frankie Keeley.
Frankie Keeley is probably the danger man in 6th place. Down in 10th place, Neil Hodgson, who is right on the back of Peter Goddard. They've lost touch a little bit with Scott Russell, but Aaron Slight looking up the inside, not making it stick. And on goes Keeley. Keeley, the man who doesn't like riding in the rain, but rides very fast in the rain, moves into 5th place. I've got to tell you that I'm dismayed to find 36 seconds behind the leaders. Carl Fogarty now 15th, and Hodgson's down. Hodgson's laid it down in the wet. That's not what he should have been doing. He was lying in 10th place. He was trying to find a way past Peter Goddard. It looks looks like he might have overcooked it trying to do that. And just when we keep thinking that Neil Hodgson's season's going to turn around, he had a great race in the wet at Albacete, and he made a very brave recovery after being dumped in the first turn in the second race. But that's not going to do his championship chances any good at all, and he's in that battle for the back end of the top 10, and he's certainly going to lose out to his teammate Yanagawa, who's skating his way down the hill there, still ahead of Aaron Slight and ahead of the Ducatis of Kili, number 7, and of course Hager in the middle there, and number 11 Troy Corser, championship leader, don't forget. But of course Troy's main threat, I would think, for that championship lead now is Norrie Hager. He ain't going to be threatened by Carl Fogarty, Mark.
That's correct. That's, well, certainly after this race, yeah. But you know, if Frankie hadn't had that tyre problem in Hager's in the kitty.
Hager's gone straight on. Hager's gone straight on at the hairpin. What a mess he made of that. He's obviously left his braking a bit too late. He's going to swan back again.
He's back on the circuit.
So he paddled his way back onto the track. He's now lost touch with the leading group, down in 6th place, and he'll find that, mind you, they had a huge advantage over Bontempi, nearly 20 seconds they had over Bontempi, so it could well be that Hager will be safe in 6th place, but that means that this battle now is an even harder one there. Yanagawa, Slight, Kili, past Corsa, heading for the front. And here's Yanagawa coming up against yet another back marker. It must make things very difficult for him. And there he is, that narrow line into the chicane at the end of the lap that Aaron Slight says was definitely the hot line to take. Even in the rain, it's producing the goods. And look at that, this is the view from Yanagawa. He's gone wide around the back marker, cuts in front of him as he comes onto the start and finish straight. Whoosh, Colin Edwards goes past us. Whoosh, whoosh, Yanagawa goes past. And on the tail of Aaron Slight. And this is Yanagawa's view as he heads up the start and finish straight, and now they're clipping it back about 50 metres early before the 200 metres line. And as we look out from our commentary position, Norrie Hager's still in there. This is the view as we go through the S-bend or it was the view before we lost it momentarily, and here we go. Here's the view that Akira Yanagawa has as he follows and tries to reclaim 2nd place from that man Aaron Slight. And just look at Slight keeling through the left, keeling through the right. And here's Kili. Kili, we think, is going to be the danger man, but Slight has made the fastest lap on that lap, 1:55.182.
Yeah, that's a very similar lap time to the lap time that Colin Edwards did just a few laps ago. So speeds aren't coming down, which would suggest to me that the track conditions are staying relatively stable, but it is getting lighter out here.
It's certainly getting lighter out here, getting brighter out here. There's Colin Edwards, Aaron Slight, Yanagawa and Kili. None of these guys can be considered out of it as regards the win. We're going to take a break, but join us in a few minutes for more of this great action. German heroes dropped his bike, so he's out of it. But at the front, look at Pier Francesco Kili. He's just murdered Yanagawa, and now he's after Aaron Slight, trying to get the inside of him and not quite making it. Heading for the last turn now. Can he try again? The sun's come out amazingly. It's blazing across us on the start and finish straight here. They're about to enter the sunshine, so we're getting this bizarre situation at the moment. The speeds are going up. We know it's drying out. They've been topping 234, 235 kilometres per hour. There's the sunshine glistening on the wet fairings, and here is Kili attacking Slight, and there's Yanagawa hanging right on with them as and we're looking back at the moment from, we don't know whose bike, it may be Jamie Whittam's, but anyway, looking back up the course as we keel through the right-hander and then round the left, which is the S's, and at the front now, the Kawasaki Advance oil sticker there gives away the fact that we're on board with Yanagawa again, and look how tricky it is with these back markers coming at them, especially for Akira, who's trying to hang on to that 4th place and hang on to Slight and Kili, who've both nicked past him.
Yeah, it's these mobile chicanes. They're good fun though, I know, and they make things very interesting, especially in the wet when you've got to get onto bits of track that you've never used before and you've never even likely to use again. Yeah, it's good.
Number 45, Edwards is still there. Edwards is only 5 seconds clear, so it's not a huge gap. Slight and Kili are obviously after him. Yanagawa there, Corsa, Haga still hanging in there. He had a good advantage. Peter Goddard making a move. He's past Scott Russell. Bontempi slipped backwards. Gramini 10th. He's got ahead of James Whittam. We just wonder how much it's to do with tyres and whether James and Fogarty have made a mistake in their tyre choice. Fogarty at the moment has moved up to 13th place, courtesy of two fallers, nothing else. Neil Hodgson and Udo Mark. They are the guys who've fallen. So rather disappointingly, down in 13th place, Carl Fogarty. And of course, Troy Corsa, Mark, is not having that good a race. It was an opportunity for Carl to make a move on him.
Yeah, it was indeed, but I can't help thinking now that Troy's knocking it off a little bit. He's just thinking about points. He knows that Haga, the only man who was challenging him for that second, third place, Haga's way down now and not going to feature in the big scoring points. Carl is just in the points. Carl's only going to get like 2 or 3 points in this first race today, and that's not enough.
Oh, and look at the slide and the wiggle on that Michelin-clad Castrol Honda as he comes onto the start and finish straight. Gilly thundering along in his wheel tracks. Yanagawa just becoming a slightly lone 4th place. 12 laps gone, then there's 21 lap race, and there's still plenty of epic action to come. Yanagawa there in 4th place, and Haga goes past us. He at the moment not really under any sort of threat. He's very clear. He's had his run off. He'll be cursing himself, and he's lost it.
Corsa is down to 6th. He's 20 seconds down. He's been going backwards. I didn't see what's happened to him, but we saw a rear view camera of somebody overtaking him, and that was Corsa's camera. Haga is also going slow. He's losing a second a lap at the moment.
So Corsa, mystifyingly, going backwards a bit. He's only got 14 seconds ahead of his countryman, number 6, Peter Goddard, so you never know. He could conceivably be in danger. Could it be that tyre choice will play a fairly critical part in this? At the moment, the guys at the front, the Michelin-clad Hondas, are looking very, very sharp indeed. Could it be that Corsa's Michelin-clad Ducati has not made the right choice of tyre?
I don't know. Possibly he's run off the track, but I haven't seen him do that. Possibly the track's not even drying out. He's just...
And here's Fogarty. Fogarty down in 13th place, 56 seconds off the pace of the leader. He was complaining that he always has a good race and a bad race every day this year. This is the problem. Every race day, one of them's good, one of them's bad. He can't figure out why. And at the moment, I fear Carl's having the bad one, like he did first race at Albacete. And well, at Albacete, he certainly put things to rights in the second race, but we can but look forward to the prospect of him doing that again here as he comes up behind Paul Hyde's Kawasaki.
I don't think we should go to Ducati for lunch, Jack, because when Carl has a bad first race, he is not pleasant dinner companion. He will be furious. He will be spitting blood.
Number 111 slides in there, seems to be holding Keeley at a distance. Keeley's just settled himself in there. Oops, a daisy, almost Keeley through. Perhaps he was trying to headbutt the tyres he found as he squirmed into and out of. Quick glance over his left shoulder just to check the whereabouts of Yanagawa, and away they go across the line. And I think Slight's beginning to hunt down Colin Edwards. This could turn into another stonker like Monza between the two Hondas. The Hondas have had that power pulling away that 800-yard climb from the hairpin, and they've been looking good. And look at Slight cutting into Colin's lead.
Yeah, just a few laps ago, Slight's lead, Colin Edwards' lead was 5 seconds. Slight's got that down to 2.5 seconds now. He's turned it up. He's going for it.
And the fastest lap, Aaron Slight's Honda 154, finally dips under the 155 mark, 154.354. He's beginning to put the pressure on, 2.6 seconds down, so he's halved Colin Edwards' lead, and we're beginning to build up to a bit of a climax. He's also in the process slightly losing Pier Francesco Chili, who's back 4.3 seconds down on Edwards. Yanagawa another 2 seconds back, and then suddenly a huge gap back to Haga, Corsa and Peter Goddard.
Yeah, it's a shame. James Whittam is still down in 11th, and Carl is still in 13th. This is not a good day for the Brits. We've had Neil jump off it, and Carl and James are not performing as well as we'd have liked them to.
So number 7, Keeley, the man that we thought was, of course, if it had stayed very wet, then I suspect Frankie might have gone better, even though he says he doesn't particularly like it in the rain. But certainly the track has dried out a fair bit, and whatever tyres Aaron Slight has got on, he said he was going to come out here and win. That racing line is beginning to dry out. He said he was going to come out here and win because he felt he could go as fast as he'd been going on Wednesday, on Friday and on Saturday prior to Super Pole, and perhaps that wonderful little New Zealander is going to prove the point.
I hope he does. I really hope he does, because he hasn't had a win all season. It'd be nice to see him doing it. Yeah, there is definitely a dry line approaching. There is a dry line appearing in certain parts of the track on the far side away from us.
And as they go past us, that Honda of Colin Edwards is getting very squirrely coming out of the last turn. Killy rams across the finishing line. Yanagawa next. But here we go, approaching the first turn. Edwards and Slight very much right with him. 0.76 seconds down as they flashed across the finishing line, with Killy nearly 4 seconds adrift. So it's going to be between... Oh, look at that. What a lovely shot of Colin Edwards feeding the power in. Look at those eyes.
And you notice he wasn't even backing off there. He wasn't even backing off. But, yeah, Aaron's bringing the gap down, and so is Frankie Keeley. Frankie Keeley's dropping that gap as well. I mean, he's down to 3.7 seconds. He's brought it down as well.
So at the moment, Slight 1:53, and that's Mr. Gorse, his main mechanic, having a look up the track to see how Colin Edwards is doing. It's Colin Edwards he's interested in. He switched riders at the end of last season after several seasons with Aaron Slight, and moved in with this man, number 44, Colin Edwards. But at the moment, Colin's coming under pressure from the 32-year-old, very, very experienced New Zealander who rode his first ever Superbike races back in 1988, the first season of World Superbike racing on a BIM motor.
And don't forget, we're only at 2/3 race distance.
Yep, so he's got plenty of time, is on his side. Killy goes through, Yanagawa goes through. He's not lost Killy yet. Frankie Keeley then, perhaps he is beginning... Oh, and he's certainly got it on the gas, and he's just squirming that rear Michelin, looking over his shoulder. And look at Aaron tucking himself in. He's a considerably smaller man than Colin Edwards, and he's really tucking himself into the fairing of that Castrol Honda. And here's Keeley squirming his way after them. He wants to beat those Hondas. He loves beating those Hondas. He desperately wants to beat those Hondas. But the Hondas also want to reclaim the race wins that they had at Monza, because Colin Edwards on 98 points, Aaron Slight on 106. They need the point in the championship chase, and they know that all the guys in front of them are well behind them.
That's absolutely the case. Yeah, they've opened such a big gap now between the rest of the pack that are chasing them. There is definitely a dry line approaching, which with 7 laps to go is going to start hurting those tyres. It's going to be interesting to see.
Going to be interested to see whose tyres like, or who's better at nursing them. Presumably you can nurse tyres in these conditions.
Yeah, absolutely you can, yeah, and especially if a dry line is appearing, then you try and get off the dry line. Going down the straights, you get off the dry line onto the wet. Try and cool your tyres down a bit, because otherwise you will be losing chunks off these tyres.
So the fairly heavily blocked wet tyres then, at the moment, doing a great job for that man, Aaron Slight. Just look at him. This is a great plunge down. It doesn't look it so much on our television picture, but it's a great plunge downhill. Slight looking for a way inside. Oh, right on the tail of Colin Edwards. And there's Keeley. I don't think Keeley's really making any ground on. I think Edwards has picked it up. Edwards is getting desperate. He did a 1:54.2 last lap, which is, 1:54.4, 2/10 slower than Aaron Slight. So it's very, very tight. Nagara, which is doing a 1:56. So he's not matching the pace of the Hondas, but he's looking good for 4th, which is obviously going to be his best result of the season. He'll be very happy about that.
He will. He'll be a happy little fella. You had an indication earlier of just how good these wets are working, because Colin Edwards was picking his back wheel off the floor as he's breaking into that downhill hairpin jack. His back wheel was off the floor in the wet.
Well, that means that these Michelins are certainly gripping. Will they stay gripping as the dry line continues to get drier? Because at the moment we don't seem to have any rain coming down. It's quite light out there. There's the wind, if anything, has picked up slightly, which might indicate that the rain will stay off. But look at Aaron Slight again, just as he was doing in the earlier stages, trying to find a way past Troy Corser. He is threatening through that second gear right-hander. Oh, squirmy squirm, get the power down. And here they go past us now, and he's absolutely behind Colin Edwards as he was when he tried to take Troy Corser. Has he got the speed? Has he got the courage? No, he decides to just let Colin stick that broad right knee in front of his front wheel and say, OK, 5 laps to go, I've got time.
Well, if you've got a coin in your pocket, take it out and toss it, and it's heads for Aaron and tails for Colin, because it's anyone's guess who's going to win this.
And at the moment, they are absolutely neck and neck, the two Hondas, as of course they were like this at Monza when poor Aaron had his engine blow as they tore into the last lap. He perhaps won't be wanting to leave it as late as that. Sometimes he thinks himself out of race wins, this guy. We know that for a fact. He certainly did in the first race at Monza. Now, I would think that he's been showing such eagerness to get to the front. Here he goes, downhill, his favourite part of the track, into the hairpin. Wow, what a move, inside. And now he just winds that power on, short shifts through 4th and 5th, and just nails it up to 15,000 up the hill. Oh, and he's got it. He's got through. Aaron Slight, without a race win so far this year, languishing in 4th place in the championship has suddenly come to life, and he's lit up this race, and he's lit up his chances of being world champion, whether he likes to let up. Look at this.
Textbook move. I mean, it's just absolutely perfect. He sat behind him, sat on his shoulder, and just popped out and just held the braking off for a 1/10 of a second longer. Shoots up the inside, hard on the brakes, defending on those tyres. Fantastic move. Really classic textbook move. Fantastic.
Now, he's not worried about staying off that dry line, is he? He's right on that dry line, which would indicate he's happy with those tyres to be on that dry line.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a dry line on, I'm looking at it, there's only a dry line on about 1/3 of the circuit, so yeah, probably not too much of a problem at the moment.
And round through the S's, certainly we haven't really got that much of a dry line outside in front of us along the main straight, but certainly through some of the bends they've got it still splashing a bit of water as they go through the right-hander. We seem to be actually the wettest part of the course, Mark, as far as I can see. And here they go, number 45, laps 4 to go, and plus 4 seconds over Keeley. I wonder if Keeley can do anything about Colin Edwards. He'd certainly be looking to try.
It'd be nice to think he could, but I can't see it. I think Frank is accepting the fact that he's going to come 3rd in this race.
And another one down, and number 91 at least has survived this long. That's Heidger on the Team Bolliger Kawasaki, another of the German backup cast for the Pro Superbike series here, and he's dumped that Kawasaki, and these people seem to be finding fairly comfortable. There he goes, a very nice piece of grass to finally come to a halt on. Oh, he looks as if he should have held it up. He's obviously not as... No, he's gone motocrossing. Hey! Oh, no. You should have kept the gas on. You can't do that and then back it off, mate. Not on the wet grass.
Well, Jack's a motocrosser, so he knows how this works. If ever anybody goes on the dirt, then Jack has to talk at that point.
Well, I'm afraid I did. I'm an absolutely hopeless motocrosser, so I've got nothing to say on that point that would be of any worth at all. If we glance back downfield at the moment, Jamie Whittam's repassed Dramini. We've just seen him go past back into 9th place, and at the moment, number 2, Carl Fogarty, mystifyingly, is still in 13th place behind Lucio Pedicini. I wonder how long it is since he rode behind Pedicini. He's just coming round the right-hander now, so he's a huge distance off the pace, and he accelerates onto the start and finish straight, whacks across the finish line now, and he's a long way behind Pedicini as well. He's something like... Oh, it's 10 seconds down on Pedicini, so Fogarty's only going to score 2 points in this race, which is not going to greatly encourage his championship chances. But there again, we were saying that after the first race in Albacete, he came out and won the second one, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, you can normally depend on Carl. Come the end of the weekend, he's there or thereabouts. Only problem is that this year, as Jack was saying earlier, he hasn't been there or thereabouts in both races. He's been good in one, bad in the other. He's aware of the problem, and he understands that he has no consistency at the minute, and he's working on it, but his efforts are to no avail today. And there's Ian telling Aaron he's got 3 laps to go and he's 4 seconds clear. Oh,
Aaron Slight in there. Colin Edwards next up. Getting that knee out, a little bit more cautious perhaps than Slight going into that first turn. Well, Slight did say that as far as he was concerned, in his head, he had all the speed he needed to win the races round here. He certainly looks to be proving that as he comes into more back markers on its Mrikruva on the SBK team JM Honda. Number 50 will be next under the axe as Colin Edwards slides past another back marker, and Edwards looks pretty comfortable with 3 laps to go. I don't think that Keeley, who's 6 seconds behind him, is going to be able to trouble him too much, and it's beginning to look like Aaron Slight's got this taped as he said he would have, barring any mechanical mishap.
Yeah, we've got to remember that Colin, who we're looking at now, he's still learning how to ride that bike. It's his first season on it. He's not ridden a Honda before. It's got very different chassis characteristics and very different engine characteristics to anything else that is out in this grid. He's learning, and he's learning fast.
He's learning very, very fast. He's deeply impressed, the former American Superbike champ, and he hasn't been racing that long, for goodness sake. He's a relative rookie, and he's had 2 years with Yamaha. He had one of them completely dissected by injury, so he only really had half a season. So this is just after a season and a half's racing in World Superbike. Here he is making a big impression with Honda. Number 4, Akira Yanagawa, who made a huge impression with Kawasaki in 1997 and is beginning to show signs of recovering that form. At the moment, a very disappointing 7th in the championship with 55 points. I mean, that's a long way behind the 6th man, Colin Edwards, on 98, and Colin's going to stick 20 on top of that. But at the moment, Keeley beginning to make a move? He's certainly got his head down as if he reckons he's got a chance, and he's lost a bit of time on speed there with the back marker in front of him. Colin Edwards was almost 10 kilometres per hour faster down that section of the course, so Frankie's got a lot of work to do in the last 2 laps if he wants to mount a challenge for 2nd place.
Definitely drying out. Look at that dry line that you can see now. It's even drying out in front of us. These last couple of laps, these things are going to be moving around. It could get interesting.
It could, because Edwards has stayed fairly close to Slight. The gap at the moment about 4.1 seconds, and Keeley has suddenly started chomping into that gap between him and Colin Edwards a bit. It's seesawing. It's nice and tense. It's nicely balanced. And except for this man, Akira Yanagawa, who we think is cemented into fourth place, barring mishap, it's all happening at the front here. There's Edwards.
Yeah, it's sort of gone a bit flat now, really, hasn't it? It's a shame because we had a cracking race to start with, but it's all sort of, right, OK, we know where we are.
Here we go, Colin Edwards in second place then. Colin Edwards knows that he's being hunted down a bit, but he knows he's got 20 points in his pocket. 98 points at the moment would take him to 118, and that would suddenly put him right back in contention. He knows he can win, and he knows he can win in the dry and the warmth and the sunshine. Now he knows he can finish a red-hot second in these sort of weather conditions. So it's going to be interesting to see how he goes on over the rest of the season. But right now, I'm interested to see whether Keeley can. Keeley suddenly seems to have got a lease of life, where a second breath, a third wind, and he's on his way. Look at him squirming the Ducati round that right-hander, and that was magnificent stuff coming out of the hairpin. Woof! And that's great stuff. Yanagawa next up in fourth place, but it's wonderful to see Keeley. I mean, 33 years old, 34 this year. He's still a great rider.
Absolutely, he's a fantastic rider. He is a fantastic rider, yeah.
And these riders, these bikes are beginning to twitch a bit more, Mark.
Yeah, you can actually see them as they're coming out the turns. The handlebars are waggling a little bit as they're coming out and putting the power on the dry turns. Now we're looking at a wet turn. But yeah, on the dry turns, these things are definitely hooking up a bit and making them wag just a little bit as they're able to get more power down, and the tyre is squirming underneath the throttle.
And here we go. We're looking at the second and third men into the final lap. Colin Edwards should be secure, and Yanagawa's still in there as well. But certainly Edwards should be safe in second place. As what Aaron Slight has not got to do, of course, is, if we remember back to Phillip Island, do a Jean-Marc Delatang and try and ride around the outside of one of these back markers and get taken off onto the grass. Please don't do that, Aaron. I would really like to see you win this race, especially after your immense kindness in taking me round the circuit on a scooter on Friday night. And here he is. He just decides to dive through the middle this time, right, as if one isn't enough to take you off. I'll just take both of them together. But obviously Slight knows that he's about 6 seconds up now on Colin Edwards, and he doesn't want to do anything daft. I think it was up here into the left-hander that he lost it during his attempts to match Mick Doohan's best time from last year's Grand Prix. He's not doing anything silly like that. He wants that race win, and I think he's going to get it. Colin Edwards in second place, his 24-year-old teammate, and then the magnificent, highly respected Frankie Keeley in third place, of course. He's been 10th in 500 World Championship Series, 7th and 3rd in 250 World Championship Series during his long career. He's a man who's been there, done that, and he's going to be third and on the rostrum here at Nurburgring. And I think that's a thoroughly justified result for the Ducati. But the Ducatis will be a bit disappointed having two Hondas beat them.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget, it was virtually a Ducati front row, wasn't it?
It was.
And all of a sudden we've got two Hondas on the podium. Both the Hondas on the podium. That's a good result for Honda. They're going to be happy. They're going to be thrilled. I
still love that line of Aaron Slights as he just takes it a little bit wide, but squirts a bit as he comes out. Don't do that, Aaron, please. Just save it until you've got across the line. There he goes through the right-hander, and now head down and a very quick wheelie as he comes across the line. And it's a great win for Aaron Slight. His first win of the year. Second place for Colin Edwards. He flashes across the line now. Third place, we think, for Keeley. Yes, Frankie backed off at the end there and just came past with a very, very significant little wave. Edwards is happy with second place. So there are our first three. Fourth place for Akira Yanagawa. So, and look at this. And there's Haga. And he's right behind him, Troy Corser and Peter Goddard. It's all over the spotted. Haga's fifth, Corser sixth, Goddard seventh. Great ride, look at Goddard. Goddard going up the inside, and he's trying to beat his way on the inside. And I think, judging by the fact there's an empty, and he's done it. Has he done it? They're coming for the line now. Peter Goddard gets inside Troy Corser, up on my feet, and he's done it. He gets through. Troy Corser then, the championship leader, demoted eventually to seventh place by a brilliant finish from the 33-year-old Australian. He gets seventh place, eighth place for Pier Giorgio Bontempi, and James Whittam head down, disappointed with himself, I would imagine, still 3 seconds down on Bontempi, but at least beating Gramini number 39 in a dramatic dash for the line. What a race in the end. Well, that's it. First race of the second round. And He's dug out an Italian flag from somewhere already, so he'll be enjoying himself on his way to the podium, Mark.
The two Hondas went very well. The Hondas do have a good advantage here with their power delivery and their gearing. They're able to change their gearing in something like about 12 or 15 minutes, actually change a gear ratio. So, yeah, they've got it geared properly. Frankie's going well, but we mustn't distance for a Corsa.
So the red flag is up in front of the boys. When that man departs, those throttles will open once the red light goes and the green light comes on. We're waiting for the back markers to arrive on the grid at the moment. They're just coming into line. The last two guys on the grid coming into line as we speak. That's Kraus and Mance. We won't be seeing too much of them until they actually get lapped. The guy departs. Watch those lights. And the red light turns to green, and away. Colin Edwards got a tremendous start. Fogarty got a pretty poor-looking one, although I think he got away better than Corsa. I think he was alongside Corsa as they went down towards the first turn. And at the moment, Colin Edwards is the man at the front, number 45. Keely's in there. Foggy lost that initial drive out of the gate, and he's right back with Whittam, who's wearing his familiar blue sort of boiler suit outfit. Oh, and someone's on the net. That is Jamie Whittam. James Whittam got himself off the track in the first turn, so he's set his chances back pretty firmly. And that man Hagers, number 41, is in second place. He's moved back into second place in the championship after that first race, just 10 points behind Troy Corsa, and 3 points behind him, joint third in the championship chase. First race winner Aaron Slight and former champion Carl Fogarty. So this is it. It's another wet race, and these guys are getting pretty fed up of racing in the wet, but they know it's got to be done. And at the moment, one man happy about it is Colin Edwards at the front. Now, Edwards, you remember, led for a long time in the first race, Mark, and he reckoned he knew that Akira holding up the guys behind him a little. He said, I knew once the mission men got past Yanagawa, I might have problems on my hands, and he sure did, because Aaron Slight nailed him.
That's right, Slighty came through, and he took it down to the wire. Slighty did. He really flew. Very smooth. Slighty's been on fire all weekend, but look at Hager. Hager's start was as good as Corsa's was bad. Corsa made such a poor start, but he's picked up a load of places in this first half of the lap.
And I was concerned that Carl Fogarty would be going one bad race and to bad races in a weekend, and that's the way it's looking just at the moment. And look at Keely right there and I think he's having to go attack. And look at Aaron Slight deciding he's going to do both of them at once, and he's certainly done Keely. Wow! And that slight tight line into that chicane. It's been a winner all weekend. It was a winner all through qualifying. Now he's trying to headbutt those tyres on the way into the last turn. Second gear corner, through he goes, heading past the hotel onto the start and finish. Absolutely, and look at that. Yanagawa side by side with number 5 Neil Hodgson. Hodgson crashed in the first race. He's desperately looking to improve, and Aaron Slight is up there. Aaron Slight second, the Honda 1-2 ahead of Ducati, Yamaha of Haga, and that's brilliant stuff. 5th place Cole, 6th place Bontempi,
yeah.
In 10th place Goddard, 11th Russell, 12th Gramini.
Yeah, Frankie Keely took advantage there, and he's relegated Noriyuki Haga down on the place. Oh, and he's done Slide. Wow, Frankie's on fire today. The Duck, Frankie the Duck, up to second. Go on, boy. Get that over. Yeah, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. If anyone, yeah, he's a happy man. It would be great to see him win. Open up the title chase as well a bit.
Keely then back into second place. I thought that Slight had him and would keep him there, but Keely did the right thing. He retaliated straight away. This is the man who says he doesn't like racing in the wet, but he can't help going fast in it. When it starts to rain, Keely comes out and flaps his feathers, gets the water off him, and goes for it. And look at this, Troy Corsa. Troy Corsa's now giving Hager a hard time. Falling slightly off the back there, and he's going to be finding himself with a few problems from the former champion and current championship leader, who's presently, of course, just 10 points ahead of him in the title chase. At the moment then, first place Edwards, second Slide, third Hager, fourth Keely, fifth Corsa, sixth Bontebia. Look at Gilly coming. Oh, Gilly's right round the outside. Oh, not quite. Colin Edwards moves out on him as if to say, you're not going to do anything as cheeky as that in the fast downhill right-hander. Now, let's see what Gilly tries to do. This is the fast, ever so fast, down towards the chicane. He's trying to murder it. He hasn't quite got it. He sensibly goes in behind. I mean, don't forget, for sake, Frankie, we've got about 20 laps of this. There's no need to do anything too terminal at this stage in proceedings. Has another look up the inside. He wants to get through. He's got through. He's got through.
Frankie may say he doesn't like riding in the rain, but you can't deny the fact that the boy is so good at it. He is obviously riding at a pace that is quicker than everybody else, and he's comfortable at it. He doesn't want to hang behind and do the calculated things, see how the other guys are going, and just pick his time. He just wants to go at his pace.
Wet weather Dunlop, Whittam having made a late decision to take off a hand-cut slick on the grid of the first race. Now we're all on full wets, and at the moment Killy's got it. Killy was so miserable when I interviewed him after the first race. I couldn't believe he'd finished third. He was shaking his head saying, yeah, I kind of ride the bike how I want to. I have to ride how the bike want to go. I don't like there. And I'm thinking, wow, well, third place and still in with a championship chance. Now, perhaps he might be a bit happier if he wins this. Yeah, but now today the bike want to go well, so he's going well with it. Frankie the Duck, he's pulling away a lead here. Aaron Slight now, I think, is going to start waking up, and as I said earlier, don't discount Corsa. Haga seems to be dropping off a bit. Now it's going to turn into a battle between the two Japanese, Haga and Yanagawa. Haga that we're looking at now, Yanagawa is chasing him down. This could be the first opportunity that Akira Yanagawa, the rookie star of 1997, has had a real chance to have a go at the rookie star of 1998. And obviously the man who would dearly like to beat in hand-to-hand combat. Well, now it looks to me as if he's got his chance. And Aaron Slight, as he did in the first race, beginning to hunt down his teammate. Like Colin said, once the mission men are coming at you, then you know you've got problems. And already someone in the pits, and it's Scott Russell on the Yamaha. Look at that deep tread on that front tyre. And Scott Russell, who was so determined that his luck was going to change today, yet again has been defeated, and we don't know why. Well, they've got the pads out of that bike there, and everybody's having a good close look at the front brake pads, so there's obviously a mechanical problem with it, and I feel sorry for him. He was so fired up this morning. He was really, really positive about today's race, and, well, today's races, and sadly, not to be. Bad result for the boy. What a shame. Jamie Whittam up to 13th place in the wheel tracks of Udo Mark, and Levere about 6 seconds ahead of them as we watch second and third and fourth men. Corsa there in fourth place. Lap 4 we're on now. Haga with Akira-san really making his life hard. The Kawasaki's right there, and as they steam down towards the hairpin, can the Rick Johnson-tuned Kawasaki of Akira Yanagawa make any impression? Well, certainly Haga's is quicker on the downhill. So I've got a feeling that Haga's, the hackles on Haga's neck will rise when Danger Mouse found himself being hunted down by Yanagawa. He doesn't want to lose to a Japanese rider, a fellow Japanese rider, and he knows that he wants to keep that second place in the championship or even make it first. Absolutely, it's been difficult for Yanagawa. Yanagawa last year was the one Japanese boy, and he was a bit of a sparkling superstar, turning up at all these circuits never seen before and going real quick. This year he's been overshadowed by another Japanese guy, Noriyuki Haga. So for these two to have a little bit of a niggle like this is great. They're going to have a real play, and Pride is not going to let either one of them easily give up the position. Absolutely true, and the same with these Castrol Hondas, and I just wonder, in these wetter conditions, has Aaron Slight got what it takes to hunt down Colin Edwards the way that he did in the first race? Remember, he's got himself right back into contention with that first race win, number 111 Slight. 131 points puts him dead level with Carl Fogarty. Fogarty, incidentally, at the moment in 14th place, right behind James Whittam, but 25 seconds off the leaders, and look at this, Slight going past us absolutely side by side and drawing alongside as they cross the finishing line, and I think he might just be a bit braver on the brakes. Ooh, squeeze it inside, and Colin really has nowhere to go. He started that move on the exit of the previous corner. He got a good drive out of it. He was right on Colin's shoulder, and he stayed on Colin's shoulder on the inside, so that come the end of the straight when they're turning right, Colin's got nowhere to go. He had to let Aaron go through first. And it certainly worked, because there's Slight in second place. That's worth a bag full of 20 points, but there's a long way to go yet because this is very wet. And look at Killy's speed. He's down to 156.345. Edwards did a 158, Slight a 157, Corser a 157. So Killy's taken this race by the scruff of its neck at the moment, and a lot earlier in the race than he did when it was raining hard at Albacete. But that man, Aaron Slight, winner of the first race, he's now 3.7 seconds down in second place, but he's got a clear track. Now, can that make a difference? Can he get after it?
Yeah, absolutely. He's got past the difficult man. He had hunt down his teammate. He's probably got very similar gearing to him and certainly very similar performance. Had to hunt down the teammate, get past him. Now he can get the head down and start chasing Keeley. But I have to say, unless the lap times start changing drastically, then he's not going to do it because Keeley is actually going quicker and quicker.
And number 74 goes down there. So that's one man we've lost from the scene of things. And goodbye to one of the German privateers. I suppose it makes for less people to actually get past when the racing gets a bit tighter and gets further down the line. But this man Keeley at the moment, he's not because only Yanagawa's got through. Yanagawa's passed Haga. He's got into 5th place. Now Norrie Haga, I wonder how far he is clear of Neil Hodgson, who's lost touch a bit with Yanagawa. But after that crash in the first race, I would think that the boy from the Isle of Man is probably struggling a little bit. He wants to be upright, doesn't he? He doesn't really want to be decking it. That would be pretty tragic after losing out in the first race altogether.
Yeah, Neil's feeling a bit second-hand at the moment. That's 2 crashes in 2 days, both of which are slightly uncomfortable. Neil, nothing too drastic, nothing broken, nothing torn, but both slightly uncomfortable, and inevitably you do end up feeling a bit second-hand. Frankie Keeley, Frankie the Duck, his problem at the moment now is he's got an empty track in front of him. He's just got to keep on going and keep his rhythm up. He's got to keep his mental state working.
And here's Lavia ahead of Gramini, but only just ahead. Little Gramini, former 125cc world champion, number 39. He's really pressing on in this weather. And look at this, Hodgson's beginning to slip backwards. He's now back into 9th place, and he's got Peter Goddard for company, which is probably what he didn't want. And that's going to make life a bit harder for the Englishman, who crashed in the first race and must be desperate not to do so again in race 2. Because he's losing contact just a little with the guys in front of him in the championship chase. Here's Lavia. He's the guy who's been scoring the good results of late, but not really making any progress. He's still 13th in the championship, 32 points. He's slipped behind Bontempi, so he could do with some points here as well.
He could. And Lavia really has been going very well in the last couple of rounds, and it's such a small outfit, and they're working so hard to keep things going. And it's allegedly last year, they're Frankie Keeley's bikes from last year.
Well, he's certainly been making them work well, hasn't he? And this is Lavia, number 35, on the Dunlop wets, and he's being chased down by Gramini, who's obviously decided that in the wet he's a pretty adept little rider, and he ought to have that 7th place. Haga has got 10 seconds on that bunch, so it could well be that Haga's going to be safe at the front. But at the moment, Lavia 35, Gramini 39. They are rattling over that 7th place behind Haga. Haga, of course, and a quick look back. Where are you? Let's check out on the opposition, and that was Lavia checking out that Gramini is indeed right there. And the little former 125 world champ is, perhaps he's beginning to come to grips with superbikes, or perhaps he likes the rain more than he's let on. And look at that, fastest lap, Aaron Slight, 155.223, and that in fact was 1.2 seconds quicker than Frankie Keeley's last lap. Now that could be down to back markers, it could just be that he's beginning to speed up.
Yeah, I actually think Aaron's beginning to speed up, but Frankie is still 8.1 seconds in the lead. There's 11 laps left to go, so yeah, but might be closer towards the end, but I actually don't see it. I think, barring misfortune, I think that Frankie should be beginning to smile inside his helmet with his enigmatic little blue eyes.
Well, let's hope he keeps those blue eyes concentrated on the track in front as Jamie Whittam howls past us. He's in 13th place, right with Udo Mark, about 8 seconds behind Bontempi. And here's Colin Edwards now beginning. That fast lap from Aaron Slight has paid dividends. He's broken away a bit from Colin Edwards. There's Killy being waved through. Glad to see someone having the sense to do that. He gets waved through, and he's well on his way downhill. Problem for backmarkers, of course, they're constantly looking over their shoulders to see whether it's someone who they're racing against or someone they're being lapped by. But Keeley certainly proving that there's a huge gulf between he and the relative midfield and back marker men from the German Pro Superbike Championships. And he has got about 30 kilometres per hour on sheer speed, but that's probably because he's nailing it when he gets the chance to. And that was Johnny Eckerold, one of the men he lapped, number 73. And look at that, skating and weaving the bike onto the straight, howling past us now, right across that start and finish line. And I should think he's just about gone. There's Aaron Slight coming onto the start and finish line as Killy reaches his breaking point. So I think that gap is slightly shrinking. No, Killy did a 154.8. He retaliated on that lap. This is real seesaw stuff. A lot of tension out there. Back markers to contend with, rain to contend with. The weather's actually just backed off slightly at the moment. It might even have stopped racing. There's Killy's time, 154.824. That's the fastest lap of the race so far.
Keely's going so well, but Slight, as you say, has pulled away a little bit from Colin Edwards, but Corsa hasn't given up either. But some of these guys that they're lapping, I mean, there's a couple of them in the last race that finished a 21-lap race, having done 18 laps. They've been lapped 3 times. They shouldn't be on the track.
Number 41, Nori Haga is in 6th place. But he's a very lonely 6th. He's lost about 7 seconds now on his compatriot Yanagawa. So Nori Haga really is pretty lonely there. He's not going to make it. That's Marie. I must ask how to pronounce that guy's name. The gentleman from the Czech Republic was chasing him then.
Gramini! Oh, no.
Oh, he's obviously, perhaps after all that, he was riding a little bit ahead of himself, over the top of himself on the Catalonian Ducati. Oh, what a shame. So the 1992 125 World Champ dips out of what had really been his best race up till now. Still, hey, he's not going to run across the track. He's a brave little man, isn't he? And so Gramini decks it. He goes out of 8th place. Lavia is safe for the moment, although Goddard... Oh, and there he goes. There's Gramini going off it. Only just off the track.
That's a half turn and a backflip there, I think, Jack. But he got a good little stagger on as he ran across the track there, hadn't he, the poor fella? He's probably still a bit shaken, but what a shame. He had been going quite nicely. It's one of his best rides of the season, I think.
And there's Slick Bass looking less than happy, and Mrs. Fogarty less than happy also. Fogarty will have gone from 14th to 13th courtesy of that exit line, but really it's not good enough, is it? Not in the position he's in. He can't afford to be shedding points quite that fast. And I think as the track begins to dry out, I think that man Aaron Slight's going to begin to speed up slightly, but also too is Frankie Keely. Keely's done 154.5 and Slight 155.8, so Keely really is hammering that. I reckon he's decided that Virginio Ferrari's victory back in 1978 deserves a mirror image in 1998, and he's going to supply it. The Virginio Ferrari Ducati of Frankie Keely is at this moment in time heading for victory, and very well too. So Keely leads, Slight second, Edwards third, Corsa fourth, Yanagawa fifth, and Haga in 6th place. Lavia is now safe in 7th place. Gramini's disappeared. But there, having said that, Peter Goddard, who got stronger and stronger in the first race, is only 5 seconds down on the Spaniard, and just 2 seconds ahead of Bill Hodgson. So there's still plenty of racing to go for the mid-pack points, and it must be terrible sitting in the pits there. You can't do anything about it. You're anxiously looking at television screens and screens with the times on and the gaps on. But really, all you can do is will your man on.
It's worse than that. You've rolled the dice, the guy's gone out there, and then all of a sudden it either is happening and you've got all your fingers crossed, or it's not happening and you're sitting there thinking, did I do something wrong? Has the bike not been prepared properly? Looks as if Frankis has been prepared beautifully. We'll know that the guy can ride in the wet, and he's doing it again. And there's a very unhappy Alessandro Gramini and his pit are all looking very they're consoling him, aren't they, Jack?
Yeah, but they're obviously feeling disconsolate, but they're appreciating, I'm sure, the fact that he was riding his best race of the year up until this point, and when he decked it. So obviously, in the end, he was taking that risk because he was riding so very hard. Number 7, Frankie Keely, riding as hard as ever, but we're so used to him. When he's feeling good with the bike, I wouldn't dare have him say to me now that he wasn't enjoying this race, unless, of course, that man Slight can catch him. And at the moment, it's a 155.2 and a 154.7 for Slight. So Slight's over 9 seconds behind, and but he's still putting in occasionally quicker laps. And Corsa's also nudged back a few tenths of a second on number 45, Colin Edwards.
Yeah, Corsa's got to pull his finger out if he's going to do anything. We're up to we're on lap 14 now, and Corsa is not closing up on him on Colin Edwards sufficiently. Edwards is going well, but Corsa, with his extra experience and his maturity and his superbike knowledge, I do think Corsa should be pushing Edwards a little bit harder.
At the moment, this track is staying very, very wet. Even though the rain appears to have stopped, the track is still very, very wet. Not the faintest hint of a drying racing line. So these guys on full wet shouldn't be having any problem at all. They should be right in there, getting the maximum amount of grip. And presumably, they don't. These tyres will stay pretty cool over the 21 laps without any problem.
Absolutely, and the grip that they give is just phenomenal. If you want to know how well these wets work, just imagine you're on your favourite road bike with your best road tyres on a nice bright sunny day, and you have now got the same amount of, you've got less grip in fact than these guys have got on their race slick, on their race wets in the wet. They are phenomenal. You wouldn't believe it.
Well, that's very reassuring to know that they've got such stable rubber underneath them. And Neil Hodgson, I'm sure, is very happy to have it in. Still disappointed in 9th place, but not nearly as disappointed as Foggy down in 13th. And James in 11th. So it would be nice to see those British riders a bit higher up. But at the moment, they're giving it everything, and they're scratching a few points up, which is what it's about. Really, I dare say, at the end of the day, you need the points. And Frankie Killy knows that if he can get 25 points, that's going to do his championship challenge the absolute power of good. At 119, add 25 onto that, Frankie Killy is going to really become a... Whoa! Go, no, that side. Oh, okay, then I'll go around this way. Frankie, just be careful.
It's interesting to see that Jamie and Carl are separated by one of the German wildcards that I tipped for a good rider in their first race, who promptly fell off.
Oh, Udo Mark, yes, he's there, into 12th place. Just Cogs to second, and then it's that long drag out that Corser, of course, in the dry had perfectly set up his gearing for. And now let's see how he hangs on towards the end. The Hondas were always powerful. Oh, and a nasty shake as he wound the Ducati up. Then the Michelin just momentarily let go.
You can't say he's not trying, can you?
Nope.
He's definitely trying. He's definitely getting on the power, but the gearing is very difficult for the Ducatis to change their gearing to suit each bend on the circuit, because it's they have to actually take the engine out and split the crankcases, which obviously it takes a lot of time and a lot of work. The Hondas have an advantage over that, and it is really showing up as a problem for them today.
Number 111, Aaron Slight. He's in there. He's now very much on his own in second place, but he's the only man who can really go after our boy Killy and do something about him. Here's Frankie Killy. Killy number 7 on the Ducati. Look at that, keeling his way into the start and finish straight. He's just completing his 15th lap, so he's only got 6 laps to do if we're going full race distance, and he hammers across past us, looking very, very comfortable indeed. And Aaron Slight so far, yeah, Aaron just sneaks into the picture at the back there in the far distance. He's in second place. He goes howling past on the Honda. The gap 9.8, the gap is staying consistent. Killy did a 155.5 that lap, Aaron did a 156.3. Edwards a 156.1 and Corser a 156.3. So these guys truly are playing cat and mouse, and it seems to me that all 4 of them have got the track absolutely taped to the same degree.
Yeah, they've all got it sussed. They're all going at a very, very, very similar pace, and you know, it's going to be hard for anything for Troy to make a move on Colin, because Colin really seems to be on the case now. And
those 2 back markers at the end of that start straight cost a tremendous amount of time to Troy Corser, because he was just 4/10 down as they went past us here, and suddenly the gap had opened right up because those 2 guys popped up at the wrong moment as they came through the S-bend at the end of the start and finish straight. So that's the gap now, bigger than it was before. Troy's got to do it all over again.
That's right, and as I was saying earlier, some of these back markers are slow. We've seen those guys previously, now we've seen them again, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see them again before the race is over.
And there they go, across that wash of water over the track there. Colin Edwards, Troy Corser, they are the guys who are fighting over 3rd place. And at the moment, it looks as if Colin Edwards may have the advantage, certainly riding with more confidence and than he did in the first race, when he certainly, once he got hit by that boy Aaron Slight, he sort of thought, wow, here's the mission man, and he's got the result. Colin Edwards then, the 24-year-old on the Castrol Honda, quick glance over his shoulder, realises that all of a sudden, thanks to those 2 back markers, he's just pulled out a little bit on Troy Corser, and it could be that he's going to nail his 2nd podium position of the day. And at the moment, the guys, they've just juggled themselves around, because the position at the end of race 1 was first this man, Aaron Slight, 2nd Colin Edwards, 3rd Frankie Killy. At the moment, we're looking at 1st Frankie Killy, 2nd Aaron. Oh no!
Oh, disaster.
Oh,
pick it up. Go on, it might still go. Get the clutch in, pick it up.
Aaron.
Go on, Aaron. Oh, what a disaster. Come on, boy.
And
get some grip on the tarmac. No, you don't want external help. Just get it pushed.
Oh, what a tragedy and that has really
Aaron.
paid to the immediate championship champion. Aaron Slight, he had 20 points in the back. Here we see it again. What happened to it? What went first? Into the last turn. We wait. Oh, it was the back end that went on him. Oh, so suddenly. There didn't seem to be any warning there, Mark. It just went on him so instantly.
I was expecting to see the front tuck under because he seemed to be going in there pretty hot. But as you say, the back just went. He very quick. And normal. I mean, Aaron's reactions are incredibly quick. You'd have expected him on a slow turn to be able to back off a little bit and caught it. But hey, it got him.
5 laps to go, and there we're looking at Carl Fogarty, who will have benefited and probably moved up to perhaps even 12th position as a result of that. Carl Fogarty, world champion 1994, 1995, and finding it tough going in 1998. Here's Fogarty, the 32-year-old from Blackburn, Lancashire, and we were expecting to see him. Well, having said that, he hasn't performed too well in the wet so far. He had a dismal first race in Albacete in the wet, and at the moment his team's not looking too happy with where he is at the moment. And look at these two guys. These two guys are now your podium men, and they're scrapping for second place. The stakes have gone up. Number 45, Colin Edwards. Number 11, head buried in the tank of the Ducati, and that is Troy Corser.
Yeah, Troy's really got something to go for now, hasn't he? I mean, he could have thought he was going to nap off and not off for a little bit.
And a terrific news is that we have a remounted Aaron Slight. He's 33 seconds down on the leader, but what a brave move. But look at this. He's got Yanagawa for company. Oh, how do you manage this? What damage has he done? Can he manage to keep that Honda in 4th place? What a stupendous performance it would be if he could.
Well, that'll be the Man of the Match award for Aaron if he does get that into 4th. That'll be fantastic. It's not often you can fall off, get high side, fall off, get it back on, and still beat the guys who've been racing all the time that you've been scrabbling around in the dirt. And there's his favourite corner. No, it's not.
It looked like his favourite corner.
It was his favourite corner.
It was his favourite corner, and he went through it ever so neatly. And he's got Yanagawa for company. And you've said to me before that if a guy gets someone in his sights, then it sort of ups his effort a little bit. So Yanagawa suddenly will be on the pipe, thinking, "Wow, look at that! There's 4th place in front of me. That's where I want to be." So Aaron Slight's going to have his work cut out to hold on to that 4th place. Meantime, Colin Edwards is still got about a second on Troy Corser. He peaked. No. Corser's closing back in a little bit. They seem to be very cat and mouse, these two. Some parts of the course, the Honda has the advantage. Other parts of the course, the Ducati seems to close down. The Ducati quite often seems to have it on the second half of the circuit. But interesting to see that the Honda still has the extra urge when they're coming out of that hairpin.
Absolutely, the Honda is still running away from him coming up the hill because the amount of power you can put down through virtually identical tyres is the same for all people, you know. But what a fantastic effort from Aaron Slight. That is just fantastic. I bet Yanagawa doesn't know where he came from. So how have I caught him so quick, you know?
I must be going well. I can pass him now. Colin Edwards 45, Troy Corser 11. They are your 2nd and 3rd place men. Troy's still got the head down, very much a man in a hurry, very much determined to get that 2nd place. Because he knows that even if it's not a victory again, wow, he's going to increase his championship lead, really, because Aaron Slight was the man who could have endangered him. Slight has dumped himself 2 places further back at this moment in the race, and we've got to find out if he can hold on to that 4th place, because at the moment, that guy, Frankie Killy, has a tremendous lead, a colossal lead, really, of about 15 seconds. 15-second advantage over Colin Edwards. Troy Corser right with Edwards, as he usually is. There's Nori Haga finding that Levia's catching him, and there's beginning to get a hint in some places of a dry line. And at the moment, he is beginning to close down, the Spaniard beginning to close down Nori Haga, and we've got another faller. And that
Andy
might be 48. It's Andy
Meckler, yeah, birthday boy, is he today?
It's a birthday boy today, 31 years old
Andy.
today. Happy birthday, Andy. Sorry you didn't make it any further than that, kid. And further down, Aaron Slight still 2 seconds in front of Yanagawa. A brave performance indeed from the New Zealander. But look at this. Levia going past us, only about 4 or 5 bike lengths down on Nori Haga. So Levia, who showed up so tremendously well on home. Oh, look at the amount of ground he's eating up on the Yamaha under braking. At the moment, Haga's defending 6th place. Levia is obviously in 7th place. They're well clear of Goddard, who's in front of Hodgson, Bontempi in 11th place, James Whittam, Udo Mark 12th, Carl Fogarty unlucky 13th, and there goes, oh yes, number 35, Gregorio Lavia, doing a bit of a Norrie Harger on the Danger Mouse, really. He's just decided to scoot himself across the front of him and leave him absolutely nowhere to go.
That was a fantastic move from Lavia. Lavia is really going ever so nicely and is a quiet, placid, polite, very courteous guy. And yeah, he's doing fantastic. He obviously gets a bit of the red mist when he puts his helmet on, turns into a different person. A psychological change in personality maybe, but yeah, he's good. I'm impressed.
Well, he's certainly going to close himself more encouragingly up towards sort of 11th place in the championship, which the unlucky Scott Russell has at the moment, but Scott's only about 12 points ahead of him, and in between the two of them is Bontempi. Bontempi at the moment is 10th place, worth 6 points, so he would probably get past Bontempi. So it's all going to be entertaining stuff right the way through the field here for those vital points. We have 2 laps to go. Right past us now go number 45 Colin Edwards, number 11 Troy Corser. Corser all the time doing everything he can to hunt down that Castrol Honda. He's now 2.2 seconds ahead of him, and Akira must have thought that he got himself a little present then when Aaron Sight appeared in front of him on such a battered-looking second-hand machine. We'll be really thrilled if he can hold on to that 4th place. Akira in 5th, Lavia now 6th ahead of Haga. So it's all happening and the one man it's not happening to, especially of course number 7 Keeley, still 14.5 seconds clear, so he's obviously just beginning to he's knocked about half a second off his lap time. There he is, Frankie Keeley. He must know that everything's absolutely in hand. I'm hoping that's just a sticker flapping off his fairing and that the water's got underneath and detached, but other than that, everything looks absolutely fine and dandy.
Yeah, it's a bit of gaffer tape that they've got over the, I don't know if the lower radiator on that thing is an oil cooler or just a water radiator, but they'd obviously gaffer taped it up to try and get the temperature higher in the engine. So yeah, but it won't really matter with a couple of laps to go now, and if the engine's not warm enough now, then it's never going to be, is it?
No, certainly not. And he's certainly looking happy enough with it as he curves round the right-hander. Oh, still sliding that back wheel with all the joy of a kid. Whack, he goes across the line. That was the 19th lap completed and the 20th lap completed, sorry. 1 lap to go, the final lap for Pio Francesco Keeley. He's looking to win on the short 2.8-mile version of the course his team boss Virginio Ferrari won on, a 14.2-mile epic course back in 1978 in the 500cc Grand Prix. The World Superbikes here for the first time after having all their history so far at Hockenheim. Watch this man putting the power down, obviously only taking his time. Obviously, oh, and just a little bit of air under the front wheel there. He's getting it all going, all the power on that he possibly can. And that's the man, Troy Corser, who would dearly like to make it a Virginio Ferrari 1-2. Now, that would be special, but I fear that he's got a little bit too much air between him and the Honda. The Honda is so good out of the hairpin, in the dive down to the hairpin, and the power out of the second gear hairpin, that it might be the only person who might be able to help him is Igor Yerman, the 22-year-old Slovenian champ, number 22. He's just momentarily in there where they don't really want it to be. Yerman at the moment incidentally is in 15th place. Whoop, and he splits the two of them. That's not really what Troy Corser wanted, but there again, Troy wasn't close enough to really do anything about it. He needed to be able to whap himself through at the same time. But it looks as if in the wet, the Ducati can't quite manage to match the Honda on the climb up the hill from the hairpin. Frankie Keeley now nailing it down through the right hand and not even bothering to tuck himself into the fairing, because as these guys follow him downhill, he's got it well and truly in hand. Backmarker's looking round very kindly.
We saw Frankie Keeley cross the finish line as a winner in Albacete, standing on the foot pegs with his hands on his hips to say, look at me, who's better? And you never know. It'll be interesting to see what he's going to do now. We'll just keep an eye on him here now, because this is it. This is the last bend. He's knocked it right off. Whoa, come on, Frankie, yeah.
He just goes across the line, and that's it. Congratulations, Frankie Keeley. Frankie Keeley has it. He's going to stand up and say, yes, thank you very much. A little wiggle of the hips, and Colin Edwards flashes across the line in second place, several bike lengths in front of number 11, Troy Corser. He's nailed that second place, and our man of the match, Aaron Slight, will have picked himself up, we hope, to hang on to that 4th place. He certainly had it as they went into the last lap. We're looking down the track now to see if he still has it as Frankie Keeley celebrates. And here he comes, Aaron Slight, yes! Oh, what a hero's ride, and he even wheelies it across the line for us at tremendous speed. Wonderful stuff, and he hangs it on all the way down the straight. Well, that's great to see. The New Zealander's enjoyed himself, and look, he just says, well, what could I do about it? At least I hung on to that. Gregorio Lavia nets himself a very valuable 6th place, having beaten away past Nori Haga. So Haga hasn't done his championship chances a great deal of good by losing a few points there. But look at this man, Frankie Keeley, 33 years young, sat there quietly at the breakfast table this morning, nursing his beautiful little baby. And here he is. Right here. Look at James Whittam. Here's Whittam with Hodgson right behind him. He's got past Hodgson at the death on the last lap. And Neil Hodgson's just lost out a place to the boiler-suited Jamie Whittam. Across the line they come. Bontempi now. Whittam, Hodgson, as quick as that. And that means that James Whittam burst his way through into 10th place, just nicking it from Neil Hodgson on the last lap. The English guys fighting it right to the death there. And the Stars and Stripes has appeared. We know there are some American fans around. We met 3 of them on the plane on the way over. And that man, Colin Edwards, will have delighted them with another 2nd place. 2 second places for Edwards. 40 points in the bag today. Can't be bad. Carl Fogarty, incidentally, he's just rumbled across the line, 1:49 seconds behind, so he just managed not to be lapped. And he's got 13th place, 3 points. Not really what he wanted to defend his runner-up spot in the championship, but better than nothing. We think, we hope, but we won't go and ask him just yet.
We've seen titles won and lost with 2 points at the end of the season, so... Are we up? We've seen titles won or lost with 2 points at the end of the season, so yeah, those 2 points of Carl's might prove pretty valuable. What a fantastic race. Frankie Keeley, the family man, he's just such a relaxed, happy character. His little boy was walking around the paddock with his dog. The dog is taller than the little boy, and the little boy's just having such a nice evening. Frankie was having breakfast in our hotel this morning, as Jack was saying, with his little boy, with his little baby boy, because he's got 3 now. Oh, it's such a good one. What about Aaron Slight? Aaron Slight, I think, has taken my Man of the Meeting award. Would have to go to Aaron Slight. I mean, to crash on, admittedly, a slow corner, but still to high side it, to dump it down into the gravel, pick it up, chase after it, pick it up, get the clutch in, push start it, fantastic, and then finish 4th. Wonderful. So there we are, the second race of Nurburgring has finished, and we've got the podium of Frankie Keeley, I've forgotten Colin Edwards and Troy Corser. A very dramatic last few laps there. I'm looking out of the window and I can see Aaron Slight just wheeling his bike into the paddock now. Aaron Slight finishing 4th ahead of Yanagawa was just a fantastic ride. That really was a good ride. Gregorio Lavia, little Spanish guy, very calm, very polite, and he's on the pace at the moment. Nori, the guy who started the season with such a bang. 11th, Neil Hodgson. That's not very good for Hodgson. Fogarty down in 13th. He will not be a happy man. I'm glad I'm not going home with him this evening. Jack is now on the way to the podium to do the interviews that we'll be seeing later. Now we can see Frankie the Duck get in the congratulations with Virginia Ferrari there. A happy team. Well done. Good on you, Frankie.